Good morning, children. Today we are going to do fourth chapter of your textbook Flamingo, and which is the chapter The Rat Trap, written by Selma Lagerlöf from 1858 to 1940. Now I'll give discuss a few things about the writer. She was a Swedish writer as well as a teacher, and her first novel, what was the name? Gösta Berling's Saga. That was her first novel. And at the same time, she was the first woman to be awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in the year 1909. So this is a small description about the writer. Now, theme what we see here, what is the theme discussed over here? The whole story is based on the theme that through love and understanding, love has such a strength that through love and understanding, the goodness in a person can be dug out and there could be a total change brought in a person. That is what the theme is discussed throughout that lesson. Now, line by line discussion, I will go on and explain or give the meaning of the few words what we come across at the course of our discussion. Now, once upon a time there was a man who went around selling small rat traps of wire. By the way, you know what is a rat trap? Small machine, and mostly we all of us have these rat traps in our house. Okay, and here this man, a man, is named Bhagavan. Bhagavan is who? A person, a poor person who moves on from place to place selling the rat traps. And here also it happened that a man was there and he was known as the rat trap seller. And how did he make these rat traps? He was very poor. So from here and there, from stores or from big farms, wherever he got the small wires or small iron pieces and all, with the help of it, he made the rat traps and then he sold it. So he had to resort to both begging and petty thievery to keep body and soul together. Okay? But hardly throughout the day, one or two rat traps he have sold. So, but that wouldn't suffice to manage his livelihood. So sometimes what did he do? To fulfill his requirement, sometimes small begging he would do. At the same time, petty thievery. Thievery is theft. Okay? So small things he might steal to keep his body and soul together, means to keep himself alive. Even so, his clothes were in rags, his cheeks were sunken, and hunger gleamed in his eyes. Gleamed is shown. Okay? So he was very poor, so that was seen in his clothes, ragged, all torn, shattered, dirty clothes he was putting on, and at the same time, due to hunger, his eyes, in the eyes we could see, which were shining and they were dug inside. No one can imagine how sad and monotonous life can appear to such a Bhagavan. He is very poor, and so people who are poor, monotonous life every day, as this we are talking about this Bhagavan or the peddler, he every day goes in search of the small wires and iron pieces and all, then he makes the rat trap. Hardly throughout the day one rat trap is being sold, and then his life becomes very monotonous and he is sad. He who plods along the road left on his own meditations. Meditations is here the thoughts. And what does he do? To applaud means he walks very in a difficult situation, means he finds difficulty in walking, and throughout the day we see him walking from one place to another. One day this man had fallen into a line of thought. Line of thought means this man, as he keeps on walking, so many thoughts come in his mind. And one day he realizes, or a thought comes in his mind, that this world is a rat trap itself, and so many temptations he has made use of. You see the next page. He offered riches and joys and shelter and food and clothing. Okay? So he is saying that this world is a rat trap with lands and seas and cities and villages. These are the things that attract people, but a big rat trap. It had never existed for any other purposes than to set baits for people. Baits are what? Small pieces of food or cheese pieces or anything what we put in the rat trap to attract the rat. Similarly, the writer is telling or the narrator is telling that this world is a big rat trap. And what are the things or what are the baits? That is riches, joys, happiness, food, clothing. These are all baits or things that attract the people to this world. So world is a big rat trap. And then he made himself to be tempted to touch the bait. These all riches, joys, everything. These are the things which tempt a person to be a part of the world, or which tempts the person to be attracted to this world. And then the world had, of course, never been very kind to him. Now he is thinking of himself. People are rich, people have so many things which attract them in this world, but this peddler or the rat trap seller, he is very poor, and so he said that this big rat trap had never attracted him, so he gave him what? Unwanted joy. See the spelling? W-O-N-T-E-D. Unwanted means unusual joy what he got, and think of him in this way. He became cherished pastime of his during many dreary ploddings to think of people he knew who had led themselves to be caught in the dangerous snare, and of others who were still circling around the bait. So every day he used to keep plodding. Plodding is again moving, and during many dreary is boring. He used to get bored walking long distances from place to place, and then at this time cherished the thought that came. He liked sort of a pastime that this thought came comes in his mind, that he would remember few people who were also attracted by these worldly baits, and then he would entertain himself in that manner. Dangerous snare means the dangerous trap. Snare is the trap. One evening, as he was trotting along the road, trotting means walking, he caught sight of a little grey cottage by the roadside. We are told that he keeps on moving from one end to the other end of the whole world, from one end to the other. And as he was doing, what did he find? Trotting is again walking with difficulty. He happened to see a cottage. Okay? And he knocks at the cottage, and the person who is the owner of the cottage opens and welcomes him. Do ask shelter for the night. Okay? And he asks for the shelter. So as the owner of the house, he opens the door and without any questioning offers him the shelter. Instead of the sour faces which ordinarily met him, owner, who was an old man without wife or child, was happy to get someone to talk in his loneliness. His owner of the house was all alone, very poor, very lonely, no one to accompany him, and so he was happy to have someone in the house. So he gave him a warm welcome, offered him some porridge, and then gave him a big slice of tobacco he had. So both smoked, and then what did he do? Finally he got out an old pack of cards and played Mulis. Mulis is a Swedish game of cards. Okay? So after the dinner, they both played this game, and it was still bedtime. The old man was just as generous and with confidence as with porridge and tobacco. The guest was informed at once that in his days of prosperity, his host had been a crofter at Ramosji Iron Works. So now they are discussing about their days. So here the owner of this house where the peddler or the rat trap seller got shelter, this man, the host, that is, he found the person trustworthy and he shared his secret. What is he saying? That there were days of his prosperity. Means when he was very well to do, that time he was a crofter. Crofter is a workman. Okay? In where? In the Ramosji. It's a famous iron work company, and there he used to work. And now he is throughout the day labor. He was now he is no longer in a condition to work there. So what does he have? He has now kept a cow who provides him milk. Okay? And with selling the milk, he is somehow trying to manage his day-to-day life. See this words? Yes, that bossy was the extraordinary. She would give milk for the creamery every day, and last month he had received all of that 30 kroner in pay time. Okay? Creamery is the shop where this milk is sold, and then with that milk they make sweets and other things. There this man used to sell the milk, and the other day he had sold and got 30 kroner as a payment. Kroner is a Swedish currency, and that it was showing this peddler. The stranger must have seemed incredulous. Incredulous, he found it hard to believe. Who is this stranger? The person, this rat trap person. For the old man got up and went to the window, took out a leather pouch which hung on the nail in the window frame, and then 3 wrinkled 10 kroner bills, and he held up before the eyes of the guest. Guest is here the rat trap. So this man, old man, after sharing his cigarette, he got up, went to the window where a bag was hanging, some old pouch, and from it, wrinkled, all smashed or crushed notes he took out, and then showed it to the 10 kroner bills, which he read there. That is 30 kroner. He showed it to his guest. Who was the guest? This rat trap man. And then he was showing it to him, that stuffed them back into the pouch. And after that stuff, put them back in the pouch. The next day, both got up and go in good season. It's early morning. They got up, and the crofter was in a hurry to milk his cow. Who is this crofter? The owner of the house. He milked the cow, and this other man was still, this other guest, who is the peddler, was still lying on the bed. Then they got left the cottage at the same time. The crofter locked the door and put the key in his pocket, and this man with the rat trap said goodbye and thank you, and then each went on their way. So in the morning, they finished their task, work, everything, and then both of them, that is the owner of the house as well as the peddler, they both went on 2 different ends. But what happened? After half an hour, this rat trap man again came back to the house. He went to the window, and then he smashed the pane. He smashed means broke open the window pane, and then putting his hand, took out the pouch, took those, he took the money and thrust it into his pocket. The 30 kroner was there, so he took the money from the pouch and put it in his pocket and went away. As he walked along with the money in his pocket, he felt quite pleased with his smartness. He was happy. We are told that because selling the rat trap, he was not able to manage with the things. So what did he do? He sold small things and so on. Now, this man, that is the peddler, he was very happy that he had, it was for his smartness that he has cheated the crofter. So he realized, of course, that at first he dared not continue on the public highway, but must turn off the road into the wood. Wood is the forest. So he has stolen something. So he was afraid at the same time. He was wondering that if he continues to the straight road and so on, then he might be caught. So what is he doing? He decided to move through the forest. He first for hours this caused him no difficulty, and later in the day it became worse for him for a big and confusing forest. He was walking throughout the forest. So initially few first hours he was comfortably walking through the forest. Then as time passed, what did he find? He found that the road or the paths on the forest went on twisted, and no destination was found. He walked and no end was coming in the woods. And then what did he finally decide? He was so exhausted, he was so tired, and so what did he realize? That he was walking in the same path, or he was walking around the same path of the forest. And then he recalled his thoughts. That is, at this moment he recollected. We are told that he told the world is a rat trap, and at this moment the same thought came in his mind that he was right, that the world was a rat trap, and now he has come into the trap. He had let himself to be fooled by a bait and had been caught. He said that he has fooled himself and he was caught in the trap, attracted or tempted by the bait. The whole forest with its trunks and branches, its thickest and fallen logs closed in upon him with an impenetrable prison. So the the whole forest, everywhere branches, broken branches lying here and there. The thickets are what? The logs of wood which are lying here and there. And so he found that impenetrable prison. The peddler felt, or the rat trap man felt that it was a prison, forest was a prison for him, and he is trapped in that, and there is no escape now. It was late in December. What was the time? It was December, cold, and as the forest is very thick, The darkness was there all around. This increased the danger. Everywhere he was not able to come out from the forest, and then at the same time darkness. So his fear was increasing. At the same time he was gloom. Gloom means he was sad. At the same time hopeless means despair. That is, he lost all the hopes of escaping from this forest. Finally he saw no way, and he sank down on the ground, tired to death, thinking that his last moment had come. He was very exhausted. Throughout the day he kept on moving. So what did he feel? That now his end has come. Now no escape, death has come, and so he, with a heavy heart, he sat down on the floor. But just as he laid his head on the ground, he heard a sound, a hard, regular thumping. He just relaxed, putting his head on the floor. All of a sudden, he happened to hear some sound. And what was the sound? It was the sound of something being hammered. And he carefully heard, and he came to know that it was that is, iron is being hammered, and he felt that some iron wheel is very close by. He summoned all his strength. Summoned means gathered up, accumulated all the strength, and then got up and staggered in the direction of the sound. Staggered means with great difficulty he walked to the from where the sound was coming to that end. Ramosji Iron Works, which was now closed down, were not so long ago a large plant with smelter, rolling mill and forge. Now, as he was moving towards the sound, he came across, and what was that? It was a workshop. The Ramosji workshop, iron work was a famous name, and this was the workshop there. A large iron plant was there. Smelter, rolling mill and forge. Rolling mill is what? Forge is the workshop where is going. Irons were being smelted, were melted, and then where they were hammered and then turned into different items. So it would make out. In the summertime, long lines of heavily loaded barges and scows slid down the canal. What is loaded barges? Barges are boat sort of carriages where these heavy irons and things were taken on these flat boat-like surfaces and taken from one place to another. And this was done in summer. And in winter time, the roads near the mill were black from all the coal. Winter time, because due to the furnaces and on the coal which used to keep burning to smelt the iron, so the whole path had become dusty, and the big charcoals which were burned in these furnaces. Due to that, the whole area was covered with black smoke. During one of the last dark evening, just before Christmas, the master smith and his helper sat in the dark forge near the furnace, waiting for the big pig iron which had been in the fire. As this peddler or the rat trap man went closer to this sound, what did he find? He found that it was evening, almost before the Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve, and Master Smith in the main person over there, he was seated. Few other workers were also along with him. And what were they doing? A big iron piece. Big iron means a crude iron was kept in the furnace for melting, and these people were waiting for it to get ready and put it in the anvil. Anvil is what? Anvil is the platform where this hot iron is kept and to be hammered. So they were waiting for it. Every now and then one of them got up to stir the glowing mass in a long iron. Few people were there. Every now and then they were coming and then blowing the furnace, that is the fire to extinguish properly. And this, because it was very hot, they were close to the furnace. Everyone was dripping with perspiration, and they were putting on what? Long shirt and wooden shoes to get escape from the heat. All this time, so many other sounds were heard. What were the other sounds? The big bellows groaned. Bellow, you know, it is where these blacksmiths and where furnaces are there, they pull it to blow the air, and that how the fire extinguishes or blows up. The fire boy shoveled charcoal. Shovel means throw the charcoals to the furnace to get the heat, get more heat, and the clattering sound when this this charcoal was put in this, the clattering sound was heard. Outside roared the waterfall. And here inside these people were working, so the sound of the clattering sound of the charcoal and thing was heard, and outside the waterfall, sound of the waterfall was heard, and sharp north wind was also blowing, and rain or drops were falling on the brick tiled roof, so that sound was also heard. It was probably on account of all this noise that this all blacksmith did not notice that a man had opened the gate and entered the fort. Because due to all this sound and the people, the main man and the other people working with him, they were all engrossed in the work, so they did not bother when this peddler or the rat trap man entered into the gate. Surely it was nothing unusual for the poor Bhagavans without any better shelter for the night to be attracted to the forge by the glow of the light, which escaped through the sooty panes. Sooty panes means dust of the charcoal. Everywhere it was dust, and then these poor people, they move here and there, and anywhere they get shelter, it is better for them. So this man was attracted by the glow of light which was coming from the furnace. Who? This Bhagavan. The blacksmith glanced as he went closer. The blacksmith, the main man, he just glanced, unusual look he gave casually, indifferently. He did not bother who came or not. And then the other people also did the same thing. And this man, the Bhagavan, was very badly ragged, very dirty clothes he was putting on, long beard he had. Then the bunch of rat traps were hanging. So the look also did not attract the people over there. And this Bhagavan asked the permission to with the master blacksmith whether he could stay there and not. So without any honor or without listening properly or without any concern, in a haughty consent, means in a proud manner, without any uttering a word, he just nodded the head, means gave permission to the rat trap to own this thing, to rat trap person to stay there. In those days, the Ramosji Iron Mill was owned by a very prominent iron master. Prominent, famous person was the owner of this, and his ambition was what? What was his work? To make good iron and then send it to different parts of the place. He watched both night and day to see how he was very conscious about his task, very particular about the work what is done in his workshop. So time and again at times he would come for inspection. So that particular night also he came, and as he came, first thing what did he see? He saw the tall Ragamuffin. Ragamuffin means the Bhagavan. That is the person he saw, and he who had eased his way so close to the furnace that steam rose from his sweat. Why he was attracted, his owner was attracted to this rat trap person? Because he was sitting very close to the furnace and his clothes were wet, so steam was coming out from the clothes. So the iron master, the owner, went close to him, and then who had hardly deigned to look at the stranger. Deign means bother. He did not bother. He went close to him and without looking carefully, then tore off his slouch to get a better view of his face. Slouch is the big hat what he was putting on to see the face of this Bhagavan properly. But of course it is you, Niels Oz. He said, how do you look? Okay, Niels Lock. And as he opened took off the hat, he felt that it was one of his old friend. So he was says, oh, it's you. The man with the rat trap had never been seen before the iron master at Ramosji. Here the owner felt that the rat trap owner is his friend, but this rat trap man or the Bhagavan had never seen the owner of the Ramosji iron firm. So what did he do? But he did not disclose, but it occurred to him that if the fine gentleman thought he was an old acquaintance, he might perhaps throw him a couple of crores. This Bhagavan did not disclose his identity. Why? Because he thought that as this person, the iron master, is thinking that he is his old friend. Old acquaintance means old friend. So might be he would help him with some kroner and all. So for a few days he can manage with this thing. So he did not disclose his identity, and therefore he did not want to undeceive him at once. Undeceive means he did not utter a word or disclose his identity. Yes, God knows things have gone downhill with me, he said. And then what did he say? yes, yeah, God only knows, things have changed with me. You should not have resigned from the regiment, said the ironmaster. Now this very sentence tells what? This very sentence tells that this man, that is the owner of the iron mill or the ironmaster, he is thinking. What is he thinking? That he is his old friend and he has left from the regiment, means from the army, and that was the mistake. He is saying that it is your biggest mistake that you resigned from the regiment. If only I had still been there in the service. The ironmaster say, had it been I who in the service, then I would have not let you resign from the regiment. Well, now of course you will come with me. He said, doesn't matter whatever happened, now you are my friend, so you will come with me to my home. To go along up to the manor house and be received by the owner like an old regimental comrade. Comrade is a friend. That, however, did not please the tramp. Tramp is who? The peddler, the rat trap man. So, but this sort of invitation on welcome, this rat trap man did not like and never did he expect. So, he did not want to go. No, I couldn't think of it, he said, looking quite alarmed. He said, no, it's not possible. And then he was frightened whether to go or not. He thought of the 30 kroner to go up to the manor house. Would he be like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den? Why was he afraid? He was thinking that the 30 kroner is in his pocket. So with that, if he goes to the ironmaster's house and if he is caught, then might be he will put himself in the iron's den. He only wanted to chance, only what did he saw? He was not interested in going to his house, but he wanted to only sleep and take rest. Ironmaster assumed that he felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing. The ironmaster was thinking something else, that why is this man refusing? Because maybe he was badly dressed and his position is not there. He would feel ashamed to go to such a big house. Please don't think that I have such a fine home that you cannot show yourself there. So he said, Elizabeth is dead and you may already have had heard. My boys are abroad and no one else. So what is this man saying? The ironmaster, that don't feel shy, don't be ashamed. No one is there in my house. Elizabeth, his wife is dead, and he is then confirming that this the peddler would be knowing it, and then he is saying his boys are abroad, they are not there. Only he has a older daughter, and both of them only stay in the house. And he requests or he expects that this peddler comes to or celebrates Christmas with them. But the stranger said no, and no one knew. Means the peddler or this man, rat trap man, denied. He did not want to go. Then it looked so as though Captain Von Stein preferred to stay with you tonight. Stand strong, he said to the master blacksmith, and turned toward his heel. The master, so as he found his ironmaster that he is not ready to go. So how does he call him? He is calling him by the name Captain Von Stein. He said to the main man, the main blacksmith, that I think this man wants to stay, this captain wants to stay with you. And so he says that stir strong. This is the name of the blacksmith. And he says that I would go, and he goes. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith, he knew him, understood very well that he had not said his last word. But then he laughed at himself and went on. It was not more than half an hour as the ironmaster left. After half an hour, the sound of the carriage was heard. And what happened? The carriage came and stopped near the forge, that is the workshop. And from that carriage, the lady came out, provided she is the daughter of this ironmaster, hoping that she would have better powers of persuasion than he said. So, what is it? This man, the ironmaster, sent his daughter to the forge, that is this workshop, that maybe she has more convincing power and she can get the better. She entered, followed by a valet, carrying on his arm a big fur coat. Who entered? His daughter went next to the forge, and valet is an assistant, was there, and a big fur coat was in his hand. She was not very pretty, but very modest sort of a person. the master blacksmith and his apprentice still sat on their bench, and iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace. They were still there and the work was going on. The stranger, that is his peddler, stretched himself. He was sleeping on the floor and a big hat was kept on his face. As soon as the girl went there, he to see him properly, he took off his hat. The man was evidently sleeping with one eye open. This peddler had a habit of sleeping with one eye open. So as this daughter lifted the cap or the hat, he found that this man, one eye was open, and immediately the peddler abruptly jumped. Abruptly means suddenly jumped up, and he was very frightened. But then Edla Wilmanson, this is the name of the daughter. He say she is trying to console, and he say that yeah, my name is Edla So, and I am the daughter of this iron master. And then she also thought that, because her father told that he is his old friend, so she also thought the same. And then she convinced him or forced him that he should accompany him. She looked at him compassionately with her heavy eyes, and then she noticed that the man was afraid. Compassionately with love means she had some consideration or some feeling for him that was seen in her eyes, and she noticed that he was afraid. Either he has stolen something or else he has escaped from the jail, she thought. And as she saw fear in his eyes, so Edla thought that might be he must have escaped from the jail, or might be he has stolen something. So he is saying, you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. So please stay with us over Christmas. And so she said that, need not worry, you will be safe and sound, and you can stay freely with us. Be our guest on this Christmas Eve. That is how she requested. She said, this is such a friendly manner that the rat trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. That she was so loving and she was so convincing that the peddler could not say no to her, and then he followed her, took the fur coat from the hand of the valet, and then she put it over the rags, and then followed the lady, that is this daughter, in the carriage. But while he was riding up to the manor house, he had evil forebodings. While they were moving on the carriage, so many forebodings are thought. So many bad thoughts were coming in his mind. What were they? That was because of the money which he had stolen. That is he again going to be trapped in that house? Will they catch hold of him with that kroner which is there in the house? And this is how the thing comes on, and now we will see that it is Christmas Eve and this peddler is with the family. This I will continue in the next part. Thank you.